So by way of introduction, my name is Kristi Faltorusso, and I'm the VP of Customer Success at IntelliShift. We're a fleet operations management solution, so we help organizations really operationalize all of their assets. What I'm going to talk about today is how we've been able to navigate the COVID-19 pandemic during these times and how we responded to our customers and really managed a plan to keep our business intact. So first I want to walk through our COVID response plan. Over the past couple months, obviously many organizations have been heavily impacted, and how their organizations responded to this really probably dictated their impact and the results they saw. And so what I'm going to walk you through is a three-phased approach that we took to helping manage our customers through this time. So the first was our proactive outreach. Obviously making sure that we were communicating with our customers early and often was really key to driving our success. Getting our executives teams to really support relief plans and coming up with a model that would help our customers, again, navigate this time. And then lastly, our agile customer management approach. So obviously understanding that a lot of our customers were impacted in different ways, we needed to come up with different solutions in order to keep the engagement going, but really meeting them where they needed to be met. So starting with our proactive outreach, the first thing that was key was initially, as this did really start to hit, especially the US, we made sure that our executive team was really aligned on what our communication needed to be to our customers. We wanted to make sure that we tailored a message that not only was authentic and sincere, but demonstrated empathy and helping provide our customers with the context they needed, right? We needed to make sure that they knew that we were still operating business as usual. Fortunately for us, we were still an essential industry. We fell into the essential industry, so we were still operating business as usual while we were remote, but all of our components and teams were still running as they had been. The next was really tailoring our customer outreach. So our CSMs, they reached out to all of their customers, and this was really more formal to do those check-ins. We knew it was important to not just send a generic message out to all of our customers, but more importantly, to spend time with them to understand how their organizations and them personally were impacted during this time. And the last thing we did is we created custom support plans. So once we gathered all of the context of how our customers were impacted, whether they were, employees were being furloughed, whether their businesses were shutting down, or if they were deemed essential, how they were ramping up their efforts during this time. And we made sure that we worked with them to adjust accordingly. So if they now needed to meet with us less frequently or not at all for a period of time, we didn't want to be tone deaf and just reaching out to them constantly to check a box. So we really did accommodate all of their needs. And again, my focus is on meeting our customers where they need to be met. The next thing that we did is we made sure that we had created with our executive leadership team a support plan that was going to provide relief to our customers. And we made sure that one of the things that was key here is that they were flexible. So our team, our customer success org, in conjunction with finance, had put together 3 different plans and models that we would be able to extend to customers who were proactively reaching out, seeking relief. And so we found that these 3 plans not only provided them with variable options that they can discuss with their leadership teams to decide how they wanted to move forward, the flexibility that we provided in those 3 plans really helped them see that we were true partners and that we were there committed to their success in the near and long term. The next thing we did is that plan management. So it's not enough to just obviously offer these plans, both from a finance and customer success standpoint. We needed to make sure that we were tracking all of this. And so we defined and created a custom tracker, nothing fancy, it was built in Excel, but this allowed us visibility into all the customers that had sought support, what that relief looked like, so which plan they decide to move forward with, what the financial impact would be to us. And we made sure that not only were we tracking that, we made sure that things got the appropriate approvals and that we managed it effectively, so that way moving forward, we understood the impact both to our customers and to us. And the last thing was that customer engagement. So during this time, we also took advantage of, really tailoring what we needed to do with our customers from an engagement standpoint, as a result of the plan type that they decided to move forward with. So for example, some of our customers decided to maybe suspend their accounts temporarily. And so that would result in us adjusting their platform access or creating certain restrictions for them. Other customers were ramping up and taking advantage of certain accelerator programs that we had. And so maybe there was a need to distribute additional hardware. So whatever the case may be and whatever plan our customers needed to take advantage of, we made sure that not only were we supporting them through that, but also making sure that they had access to both software and hardware to execute that plan effectively. And the last thing was our customer management approach. And this was really, again, how we engaged with our customers. So like many CS organizations, you probably have a recommended engagement strategy, right? So maybe it's to speak with your customers on a bi-weekly or monthly cadence. Well, we knew that any model we had put in place would no longer maintain, right? We had customers where their doors were closed, we had employees that were furloughed, and obviously other employees that were being overworked as their stretched thin against lean teams. And so we wanted to make sure that we were really creating a model that not only helped us understand, are we doing the right things on our end, but also making sure that our customers felt like we were tailoring our support to, again, help them in a much different way. The next thing was tailoring our customer communication. I will say, obviously in customer success, empathy is so key to how we communicate. But now, for the first time ever, it was probably how we always led our conversations and closed in both written and verbal communication. Our team has demonstrated more flexibility than we'd ever had before, right? And this is not only in pricing and making concessions on contracts, but also flexibility in our engagement, in our offerings, in solutions. And so really focusing on creating a mutually beneficial outcome to address their needs. And the last was modifying our success plans. Like many really strong customer success organizations, you likely have a success plan or account plan that had been pre-built that you had working on with your customers. But after COVID, all of these went out the window. Our customers, they had new priorities and new strategies that we had to align with them on. And so for many companies that were still maintaining their work and operating, we decided to tailor all of our success plans to help them understand how to navigate this time and how our solution was going to provide that additional support. So really, again, not trying to be tone deaf, not trying to focus on anything that had happened pre-COVID or pre-pandemic, really trying to understand from our customers, where are you now and what is the help that you need from us in order to be successful? So our results and impact, I'd say that given our customer base, we had only seen a 10% impact to our logos. So we have over 3,500 customers, and only 10% of those logos had sought relief during this period of time, which I know is significantly less than many industries. And this is in part, one, to our approach, and two, really due to the fact that our customers are really deemed essential in a lot of cases, and only a few of our industries that we support had seen really big impact. Now, the other impact that we saw was a roughly about 2% impact on our revenue. And again, coming up with really flexible plans that were pre-approved by our executive leadership team allowed us to come to conversations with our customers with different solutions quickly, and also putting some time limits on them so that these offerings, really did have guardrails, right? They had a time limit in which we would extend them to and offer our flexibility. And so this not only helped us, reduce the revenue impact over long periods of time, it also showed our customers that we were really committed to their success and the long-term partnership. So again, minimal impact for us in terms of our customers and overall revenue. Now, what we did build as a result of taking this approach is we built trust and partnership. Our customers have seen us really be there for them when they need us the most, and that results in them viewing us more as partners and less as a vendor. And that trust and partnership will go a long way over time. And the last thing we saw in terms of results was that long-term growth. So for some of our customers now, we're starting to see doors reopen and business pick back up. We're now seeing them add on more products. We're having additional conversations around upsell and them expanding their uses with us, and also around long-term commitments through restructuring contracts. And so we believe that those long-term growth conversations are happening directly as a result of how we approached this situation with them.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kristi. I think that is really impressive in terms of maintaining less than 10% customer logos and 2% MRR churn. So I just had two follow-up questions here.
Sure.
One was you talked about creating new financial plans. So did you have to account for churn any differently, or was it still following the same traditional method of looking at churn?
So we did adjust that a little bit, right? Like the way that we are counting and even how we're measuring our team on churn that happened during this time. Obviously, we've adjusted that. But I will say the models that we built were really focused on making pricing concessions during a period of time. So we had less customers leaving and more customers just really going down the path of taking like a suspended route. So it really reduced their cost for a period of time, brought it down significantly, but allowed them to maintain their subscription and the access once it would be reinstated after that model. So I would say that most of our customers went that path of being suspended. And again, that reduced anybody walking out the door entirely. And we just took the hit for a short period of time, and we'll regain that as we start to turn access back on.
Awesome. So for these suspended customers, you know that they're going to definitely come back at a later point. So would you account them, not temporarily not account them in churn, or just leave them in a separate category?
Correct. We're not counting them as churn because they're still active customers, right? Like they've not exited their subscription with us. So they're
Absolutely.
still active customers. We're just going to bake in the pricing concessions, right? So there's contraction on the overall value of the contract, but they're still a customer. So we didn't recognize that as churn.
Perfect. So it's not a logo churn, but it's still a revenue churn that happened.
Correct. Yeah. So that's where you start to see that build into the 2% revenue impact.
Perfect. The other question I had was there any specific pattern that you saw in a certain segment of customers, or was it across the board? Because for us, we saw a specific pattern in the SMB side behaving differently for enterprise and certain geographical regions as well. So how did it work for you as well? Just would like to learn that.
Yeah, so basically the same, right? So we have a very long tail. Our business was built on small SMB organizations. And so obviously these smaller organizations were taking the biggest hit. For a lot of them, they did have to shut their doors temporarily. They were laying off employees, so not even furloughing them. And so as a result, they were looking for major pricing concessions from all their vendors, right? Not just us. And so definitely our SMB and VSMB segments were the most impacted. Our enterprise organizations, obviously, the larger you are, the more you are able to withstand some of this, right? They've got the revenue protection and those profitability margins built in so that they don't need to take the same hit. So definitely, there is definitely a big gap between the two. Our mid enterprise and corporate organizations, also, we really didn't see too big of a hit there, definitely significantly less than our SMB. And then when it comes to industries, like I said, we are working in fleet management. And so a lot of our customers, while many of them were essential, there were certain industries that were really hit. So if you think about like transportation was a big one. We have a lot of organizations that fall into busing transportation, limousine transportation. And as you can imagine, with schools being out, with corporate travel being, reduced to nearly nothing. And then obviously people in their gathering. So if you're thinking about like proms, weddings, reunions, things that might require a limo, those two industries were really hit badly during this time. And so those, I think, if we had to compartmentalize them into two different segments, it's our VSMB, SMB, and then also transportation is the biggest one.
Thank you so much. One final question, Kristi. So how do you look at CS as a function in the coming few months or even years? Because this particular situation of pandemic is still going to remain with us for a little longer than we anticipate. So how do you think of CS function in the coming few months or years?
So I will tell you, if anything, it's definitely put us to the forefront of the business. Our company has always viewed customer success as a key pillar of who we are and kind of where we prioritize our efforts. But now more than ever, it is so important for us to protect and grow that base, as we know that many organizations are really not thinking about bringing on new software during this time. So unless those organizations are deemed essential, they've seen minimal impact. Maybe we've had a couple new customers come on board, thankfully, but really now the level of importance around customer success is higher than ever. So we're getting not only significant investment in terms of resources from our organization, but the focus on how we're doing and what we're doing is definitely at the forefront of our operating model. So high investments, high priority. And I think, it's the right thing to do regardless of a pandemic or not, right? Like if you're investing in your customers, like I mentioned, they're going to invest back in you. And so I'm just excited to see us take the center stage, as I believe in most organizations we should be anyway. So this has been an exciting learning experience for us. And so hopefully we continue to be able to provide our customers what they need over time.
Awesome. Awesome, Kristi. Thank you so much. There's a lot of learnings in there and a lot of actionable steps, I think, that I can personally take back to our team as well. Thank you so much for that. Is there anything else you want to add, Jaku?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kristi, for joining this session with us. It was indeed a great pleasure to have you with us over here. And I would like to just summarize the key takeaways from this session for today. So first one would be get ahead and stay in front of large issues which comes ahead. The second one would be being flexible to your customers. And the third one, it's focus on long-term gain, not the short-term loss. Thanks a lot, Kristi, for joining us with us today. So I hope we can catch up in the next SparrowCast session.
Wonderful. Thank you guys for having me. I've really enjoyed this.